welcome to Make Your Passion Pay. I'm Luann Beekler, creator of the Make Your Passion Pay Playbook, your host and guide on this exciting journey to building joyful and successful work environments. Known as the Little Spark, I've helped countless individuals and businesses ignite their potential through transformational coaching, creating thriving businesses and joyful workplaces. I have experienced the challenges of leaving toxic workplaces and building something better. I bring firsthand wisdom to help you align your work with your values. With insights drawn from working alongside world-renowned leaders and a deep passion for community and connection, I'm here to show you how to lead with joy and purpose. Let's dive into today's episode and start making your passion pay. Welcome, everyone, to Make Your Passion Pay podcast, where we talk about the 6 C's in the playbook of making your passions pay. Those would be clarity, connection, community, collaboration. We're going to focus on those 2 today, creativity and commitment. And so many others have come up in our conversations, which is fabulous. Today, I'm excited to be with Lesle Lane. Lesle is the founder and lead photographer of Studio 13, a commercial and corporate photography studio serving regional to national clients. A third-generation photographer with more than 3 decades of experience, she's transformed her family's legacy business, I love that, into a modern brand focused on helping companies strengthen their visual identity through high-quality imagery. Under her leadership, Studio 13 specializes in corporate, industrial, and architectural and branding photography for organizations across a wide range of industries. No more of that. Without further ado, Lesle, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I'm so glad to have you. We struggled a little bit to connect because life happens, but here we are finally getting to chat.
Yes, life does happen. Let's all remember that.
So Lesle, tell my listeners a little bit about Studio 13, your family business that you have now the 3rd generation taken over.
Yes, a lot's changed in 3 generations. My mom and I figured out last week that we have had somebody taking pictures in our family for 95 years. And I think that that is just something to be celebrated this year. So my grandfather started out the 1st generation. He actually worked for the original Olin Mills down in Florida. Even though Olin Mills was out of Ohio, he started down in Florida. And then he and my grandmother had a thriving portrait wedding business down in Columbus, Georgia, that my aunts took over once they were done. And then my mother and my biological father actually did color laboratory work when it transitioned from black and white film to color film. And then my biological parents got divorced. My mother met my stepfather and moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, where he was a commercial and corporate photographer. And I took that business over when I was in my early 20s, and I am now running a incantation of his business here today.
Well, I guess that's a real example of something, the blood running through your family in photography. What? That's crazy good. I remember Olin Mills when I was a little girl. Our parents would get us our pictures taken by Olin Mills. That's so interesting.
It was the thing.
Yeah, super exciting. And now you have a team?
I do. I have a team of 15 freelancers. So everybody is a contractor, 1099 employee, and they cover a wide variety of things, some of which I do, some of which I don't do. So video, drone, still photography, and then events and corporate work as well. And then I also have a salesperson, an administrator, and a social media person. So I don't have to do everything in my business.
Wow. It sounds like you really have built a community of professional photographers. Would that be a fair statement?
That would be a very fair statement. If you know many photographers out there, you know that they get into the business to take pictures. That's really why they do it. And a lot of the other business aspects of it are not their strength. So, doing the editing and getting it delivered on time, invoicing and selling and networking and quoting, all of those things kind of fall by the wayside because they really got into the business to take pictures. And so, what I do is I come alongside these photographers and I find the work, I manage the account, and they get to just take pictures.
So do you still take pictures?
I do still take pictures. I'm still a producer in my company. I'm just able to delegate some things that maybe I don't do or I don't like to do, and then focus on the things that really require my 30 years of experience.
And really probably pick and choose what projects you are actually the photographer on.
Yes, a lot of things that I love to do, I haven't quite been able to train other people to do yet. And so, like architectural photography is quite difficult to see the angles and to it's always a mixed lighting situation. So how are we going to balance that lighting? So those I haven't been able to train anyone to do yet. And then industrial and manufacturing is another side of it. Both of these types of work I absolutely love because they are so complex. So those are the two that I'm solely the only person in my business that really can do those types of work.
I don't even know what industrial means. What
Oh,
is
it's wonderful. It's dirty. It's awesome. So it's where you go into a place that they either make something, they might take. One time I worked for Big Ass Fans, if you've ever seen the fans, the big fans, and they were ionizing. So they were taking the metal and they were acid etching it and then turning it into another material. So they were coating it. And so I had to go in and show the process of how they take these metal fan blades, acid chemical reaction, and then they change the color on it with a different coating. And then I had to show how they did that without actually showing anything that was proprietary. So a lot of the industrial work is so confidential that you have to figure out a way to show the process without actually showing the process.
behind the process, right?
Right.
So it's not videography. When I think of a process or a movement like that, I think of video, but I suppose that includes too much proprietary information, and that
Well,
is
we do
partially
both. We offer
okay.
both.
Oh,
And
good.
so, because a lot of times videos are a little more lengthy, sometimes they have audio and they have text where they're telling a story, where the still photography is a immediate impact. And so, especially when you're talking about grabbing somebody's attention on a home page, a lot of times they'll have that still image that really has that boom. So we do both of them. I don't do video, but my people do video for me. And so I'm in charge of those immediate impact images.
And so, just how did you build a collaboration like this? Was it just surely the knowledge that a lot of photographers don't like to do the business side of being a photographer?
Well, it was twofold. First of all, my mother had this concept back in the 90s. She really was the one that had the immediate community of photographers. That was her idea, but it wasn't the right time. The business of photography was so different back in the 90s than it is today, where now gig work is very popular. And so some of it was just sheer luck that it was available during my time frame and not my mother's time frame. The other thing was, necessity is the mother of invention. And at a time where I was turning work away, I was referring it off to other people because I had more than what I could do. At that same time, my 30-year business partner, administrator, uh, my all around gal, she'd been with me my whole entire career. She passed away unexpectedly. And
Oh,
so we had pretty much decided the two of us were going to ride off into the sunset. And I was left with a business that I had not run by myself ever. And so my daughter came into the business and she said, I'll give you 2 years of my life to help you figure out how to do business differently, how to scale this business, and how to grow it into something that is not only more beneficial for you, but a sellable asset by the time you retire.
And is your daughter still with you?
Nope, she gave me 2 years and she backed out immediately.
What does she do for a living now?
She raises my two beautiful grandchildren with one more on the way. We can't wait.
Bless her. That's so awesome. I have two grandbabies too. So special.
Yep, very much so. They make my day.
So your mother knew to build community and
Correct.
and you had the right hand that started to help you. So did you basically learn what your right hand was handling so that you could hire others and support them?
No, actually, it was a need to diversify. So my right hand didn't do the photography. She did the editing. She did some of the quoting. She did more behind the scenes. The thing about being a commercial photographer is your neck is kind of on the chopping block because you're the one that takes all the pressure of the shoot. You're the one that has to perform under the spotlight. And not everybody has a personality that can handle that. And she was one of those people that she was perfectly happy cheering for me behind the scenes. And so I needed other people that could really perform under pressure. And so luckily I had a handful of assistants that worked for me, photographic assistants that had businesses of their own. And then also I taught photography during the Great Recession of '08, '09, '10 for some of us that it lasted
Mhm.
forever. And since I had to go into teaching for a short period of time, I have a pool of previous students that have gone into the industry. And so that's how I started building my community of photographers and starting to come up with the idea that I could make money by keeping that business in-house and not having to work quite as hard when I had more business than what I could deal with myself.
Fascinating. So, it's not a franchise, it's a
It is not.
collaboration,
Definitely.
and they all technically have their own businesses, correct?
Correct.
But you also source business for them.
I do. And some of them actually have real jobs, what I like to say, real jobs, where they're just looking for side work. So I've got one gal that's a concert organist, and she assists me on the side. I've got one gal that's a speech therapist, and she assists me on the side. And then I have other people that are actual photographers, but they just don't have enough work on their own, or they're looking to supplement it. Again, the business side of photography it's a heavy load to bear when you have to do everything yourself. And so they appreciate not having to look for every single job that they have.
So, what's the financial arrangement in a business like that?
Well, I consider myself somewhat of a broker. And so the business comes through me. I find the business, I quote the business, and then I decide which photographer gets the job. And then I take a cut of the job and they take a cut of the job.
Super. Do you know anyone else using this model?
I really don't. I haven't gone out searching for it. I know that there are large brokers that do it for wedding and real estate photography. So if you ever use a company like, I think it's called George Street, they do weddings. They
Mhm.
broker those out to different wedding photographers around the country. The problem with that is that they pay them so poorly that the photographers are normally pretty angry. I only know that because I have photographers on my team that used to do it, and they go out and they shoot weddings for such a low amount of money that they really don't enjoy the work. Because I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but there's nothing worse than working really hard and being poor.
Right. I think you made that comment when we talked before, right? It's hard to make money, but it's harder to be poor or something
Right.
like that.
Well, and I did it for a long time because during that Great Recession, I took some of that real estate work that came through a brokerage firm. And I can tell you the hourly amount that they pay their photographers is so low, but it's better than $0. And so you go out and you work really, really hard and you don't make the money that your skill and expertise really you should be making more. And so that's why when I started this brokerage part of my business, I wanted to make sure that the people made a fair wage so that they could support themselves, but also that we provided a quality of work that could warrant that kind of investment. And so that's kind of when you look at our work of what we provide, it is elevated. And by doing the business part of it myself and handling the editing myself, I make sure that the job is done to my standards and delivered in the timeline that the client requests.
Mm. So I'm hearing creativity in here, right? So with creativity, you imagined a different approach to photography that would ultimately still provide the quality that you expect and support other photographers. I mean, it's just a triple win situation in my viewpoint of what you've created here. Uh, and it's doing what you love, right? My friends, my audience, doing what you love. And she's allowing people to do what they love in their photography work without having to run a business, supporting their dreams and her own. I mean, that's just fabulous, right? Always like to remind people that there is always a way to make money doing what you love. We just need to be creative about it.
We do, and my team is wonderful. I mean, I can tell you right now that not only are they great photographers, but they're great people. But what they have brought to me and the ability, so if many of you know that the Final Four has been in Indianapolis, and we have had so many requests come in for event photography that I would have just had to turn away because, first of all, I don't shoot event photography. I hate it. I'm not good at it. I find people abhorrent in large crowds. I just don't like it. But I have a team of people that I could send out over the last 3 days to handle international accounts while they're here in Indianapolis. And we did the same thing when the NBA All-Star game was here. Things that 10 years ago I would not have been able to have come into my business at all. My team now handles that for me at a level that I could never be. I could never offer my clients before.
Oh, fantastic. I forgot that you were in Indianapolis. What a great opportunity. Yes. And did you hear though that I really want to pick this up, right? And emphasize what you're doing, Leslie, is you're playing to other people's strengths. You're allowing them to flourish in the areas of their strengths and areas that are not your strengths. And
Yep, you
yet,
can't do everything well. My father used to say, if you think you're good at everything, that means you're good at nothing. That's what my
right.
stepfather used to tell me. And so I know what I'm not good at. I've got one photographer that he refuses to shoot headshots. He hates headshots. So I don't book him for headshots. And they all get that opportunity to say yes for this, no for that. Sometimes I'll even talk to them about a specific job. Hey, I have this job in mind for you. Do you want me to pursue it? And they give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. That is so much flexibility for their life.
And so empowering. And again, I want people to hear this. You might not be in the photography business, you might be in something else, but allowing people to work in the area of their strengths, to flourish doing what they love, that supports the greater good of the whole company, right? Studio 13 is winning because every photographer on your team is winning and getting to do what they love.
That is the goal every day.
So powerful, right? And when you started this, did you really see that, or was it just a means to an end at the beginning?
You know, having done this, and I almost feel like I've reinvented myself so many times in my career because of so many things that have happened. I think that when my daughter came in and said, I'm going to help you figure this out, I was like, whatever. It was just like one more thing. And it really hasn't been until the last couple of years. So I've been doing this way now for 5 years. And it just now has taken off to the place where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. And I want to tell your listeners, when you make a change to your organization, and I would even say this, if you're a solopreneur, let's just say that that's what you're doing, everything takes about 12 to 18 months to really take off. I know everybody wants to get rich quick, And I know everybody wants it to just take off because it's the best thing ever. But with every new marketing tactic that I have implored and every new business change that I've implemented, it has taken about 12 to 18 months for it to really take off. And I am in the last, like I said, last 2 years, really seeing this concept of people, companies want to come to one source to take care of their marketing, photography, videography needs because corporate America is strung tighter than ever. People are, they're getting asked to work more for the same pay and do more with less resources. And so for them to be able to contact me and say, can you please take care of this? And then walk away and know that they don't have to think about it again. I feel like that's really been what has caused this to take off, is that people really need resources right now and they don't have time to be looking into 3 or 4 different people to do the same type of work.
Right. So you're providing them with a consistent, um, trustworthy resource to handle the projects from start to finish and all projects related to that. One of the conversations I'm having in my networks is we are in a trust recession because people don't know who to trust anymore. And now they've come to trust Lesle Lane, right? And you're lending that trust to the photographers you bring on your team.
Right. And that's why we have processes in place. So not only am I training them, but they have standard operating procedures for their projects, their jobs. This is what you wear. This is how you behave. This is what the photographer, here's how you handle your social media accounts. Everything is laid out as if they were my full-time employee, so that when they go out and represent Studio 13, that client knows that that immediately gets them a level of trust, because you cannot rebuild a reputation if you lose it. And so every organization out there, however you run your business, easier to keep your reputation than to rebuild it.
This is interesting. I work with a lot of people in the trades because tradespeople go out and hang up their shingle and then realize they need to build a team and they don't know the first thing about building a team. And to that end, a lot of the trades and construction and so forth are outsourcing to subcontractors, which is basically what you're doing, but you're holding them accountable to a standard operating procedure. And I hear my contractors saying, how can I do that? But you absolutely can do that. If you are sourcing business for them, which is what you're doing, right? Then you can hold them to the standard as Lesle is with her photographers.
You can. And I also, my photographers and videographers know that I might show up on their job. So it is not unusual that if they are with a client that is a new client and I don't have a relationship with this person, maybe I've never met them, I do get a lot of what I call cold searches from the internet. I will show up if their job is local and I can get there. I will show up to make that relationship with the client and to check and make sure that everything is going as I expected it. So with your tradespeople that you're talking about, the owner of the company needs to be prepared to put in, or maybe someone in business development, to put in the time to make sure that that relationship shows that they can be held accountable. Show up to that job site and make sure that your subcontractor has showed up looking the way they're supposed to, acting the way they're supposed to, and performing their job the way they're supposed to.
Right. Keeping the job site, the quality, the way they're supposed to. When I think about my clients, yes. So there's the key in that statement, relationships, right? And so you are the relationship creator on the client level that these other business owners need to be. And as I work with them, I see that many of them want to be that relationship person. They're often too stuck in the tactical day to day to actually take the time to be that relationship person. And so it's building the structure, the standard operating procedures, the core values, the expectations, right? That everybody agrees to live by, so you can count on them presenting the quality that you expect.
Yes, and many times, if it's a new client, I might bring the shooter that I want to give this account to. I might bring them and we shoot the first job together. So if, for your tradespeople, is there a way that you and your subcontractor can perform one project together to make sure that they understand and to build the relationship with your customer, build the relationship with your tradesperson to make sure that everybody's on the same page? One other thing that I do that I think is extremely important when I'm subcontracting out, I compliment and let my workers know when they do a great job. And when the client sends me an email that says, this photographer did an amazing job, thank you so much, that is immediately forwarded to my subcontractor to let them know they have performed well. And I think criticism is less important than praise.
Oh, yes, recognition, recognition. And when they do it right in alignment with your core values, with your standard operating procedures, recognize, recognize, recognize. It
Yes.
creates that culture. We all want to be seen and heard. And you're just saying you saw that I am a quality professional as well.
Correct. And I'm sure you're running into this in the trades. Finding talent is hard.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the biggest competition we have. Trust and talent are the two biggest competitions we have right now. So if your tradespeople have the opportunity to work with you or your competitor, and you show them that they're a real person and that you appreciate their work and the other person doesn't, who do you think they're going to take the jobs from?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I've just met a gentleman starting a business where he plans to build that talent pool so he can provide um, skilled labor to the contractors.
That's fabulous.
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so, again, my friends who are listening, whatever your idea, whatever your expertise, there is an opportunity to make money doing what you love. And if you can't come up with it on your own, by all means, I'd love to talk with you. Leslie, how can people reach out to you to learn more about the photography business?
Well, if you want to see my work, see what our team is doing, studio13online.com is our website. There is a contact us page that goes directly into my inbox, so you can reach me there. I'm also on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
And are you hiring on more photographers?
I always love to keep my opportunities open, especially around the country, because we do have jobs that show up in different places. But most importantly, I will in the next 10 years bring on a successor. And so if somebody likes to work hard and somebody wants a business model that works, I am always open to speaking to people about that.
Sounds like potentially you could put this into a franchise model.
I have been told that. You're not the first person to tell me that.
Hey, the word franchise keeps coming up in my world over and over again. And I have this thought process, right? Well, we talk about core values in the 6 C's to making your passions pay. And that core values with a franchised organization start at the top and need to be implemented all the way down into every franchise. And so I feel like there's an opportunity there for coaches like myself that work with core values to help people make sure that happens. Right?
Absolutely.
So that said, I've been getting to know some franchise folks. If you want a connection to those individuals, you let me know, Leslie. We'll make sure that Leslie's contact information and social media links are all in the show notes for today. Leslie, any more advice that you would give to my audience?
You bet. Just one.
Okay, good.
Make sure you have a mentor.
Mm.
So I spent so much of my young career working in a vacuum. where I only had the same few people around me all the time, and they were all in the industry. I'm not saying you don't need an industrial, somebody in your industry to be your mentor, but having a network of people that know more than you do and that you can speak to, not just about your ideas for growth for your business, but running into economic and financial hard times within the country or just within your industry. It's always great to have a group of people that you can, contact when you have questions. And so everybody needs a mentor of some kind.
Yes, and I would even expand upon that. I've had others talk about having a board of advisors. So you have different people in different professions that are your respected confidants that you can go to. Because no one, my friends, no one does this alone. And so when you're feeling alone, please reach out to others. If you're in the photography arena, absolutely reach out to my friend Leslie here. Any others, reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you in my big, bold network of people that I know. Leslie, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I have enjoyed every moment of it.
You have a great rest of your day as well, my audience. Enjoy, and we'll see you again next time. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Make Your Passion Pay. If today's episode inspired you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a rating, and share your thoughts in a review. Every listener makes a difference in spreading this mission of joy and purpose. Want to take the next step? Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, or anyone looking to build a thriving, values-driven workplace. Together, we can create communities where passion fuels success. Until next time, remember, when you lead with joy, you inspire greatness. Let's keep making your passion pay.